All right, I'm going to be decoding Spree, new movie starring the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Joe, starring Joe Carey, Sashir Yamada, David Arquetta, Cal Mooney, and Misha Barton. There's a few other names in this film, but
Doesn't matter.
those are I'm gonna read off.
Mm.
So
Um,
yeah, free were released. I think August 2020. Yep, August 14th, 2020.
so
Who directed? Directed by Eugene something. Yeah.
so right off the bat, um, the movie is a good example. I would give it a good example of white supremacy 101. We have a racist man just driving around town being racist. Um, and I like to
What
talk
are
about
some? What is an example of his racism for those who may be confused?
well, him a great example of him being a racist man is him saying that he was white when talking to Frederick, the guy in the back seat of that thumbnail. I mean the back, and so he says, yeah, I'm white. And also him using deceit and violence to harm people is what makes him a white supremacist, racist. So that's all the proof we need to call him a white supremacist. Even though he uses the words that racism is okay, his actions clearly show that he is a racist because the way he manipulates people throughout the movie, uses deceit throughout the movie. It's deceitful to poison water bottles and poison people with that. That's deceitful. That's racist for a white person to do. Um, yeah, and I wrote down some of his character traits. I would categorize him as a narcissistic, obsessive psychopath. What are your
Agreed.
thoughts?
Yeah. So the film, to me, the film was I enjoyed watching it. There's something. There's something interesting about a white person who has, I guess, planned such a horrible, evil act down to the most meticulous points. And I think there's a lot of instances of racism in this film. I think one of the most striking instances of racism was for when the black police officer is killed. Well, the black male officer
I mean, non-white. I
is
believe it's non-white. He got shot by the Asian, the non-white woman.
yeah. Well, he looked like a to me he looked like someone who may be classified as black in the system of racism and white supremacy,
It could be
and
correct.
he's shot by the Asian female, and when first of all, you don't see any black males in the film unless they're extras in the audience, and when you do see them, they're killed violently. I thought that was a pretty strategic way of showing a black male death. And although this film is filled with death, I think the fact that it's a non-white person killing another non-white person is significant. Um, but before I actually get into my our in-depth analysis, Spree is about a guy named Kurt Kinko or Kunko.
Uncle, yeah, uncle.
And he is obsessed with becoming a highly popular content creator slash influencer. He divulges a plan to go viral, which results in him going on a violent spree. hence the title name of the film, Spree. Yeah, the actor does a good job on and channeling this psychopathic energy because when we first meet Kurt, for myself at least, I got like a eerie feeling from him, like something about this guy is off. And what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on how we're introduced to Kurt?
I thought it spoke to the Yurugu because there's a part where he's doing the Draw My Life. And he says that
Yeah,
sometimes you're just left with yourself in your brain, and that means being alone. And that just Yurugu tells us that white people have a hard time being alone, being in place, like being alone in their thoughts for some reason. And I think that was a good example of that. The way he exists is in a need of like constant stimuli. I don't think Kurt Kunkel to be a person to ever meditate or, have a peaceful thought. He's always about progress, growth, growth, growth. And the Yurugu tells us that the European white person, that's just their nature to be obsessed with growth. And being a YouTuber kind of makes it so you can have infinite growth. So which fits the European and silly perfect, I would say. Um
yeah.
also,
I want to chime in. I want to chime in after what you said. Yeah, I agree. I think him drawing. I think even his logo is symbolic, and his logo is it's the world. So you see the world, and it's two eyeballs, and it's Kurt's world. It's his world. So I think this is a symbolic way of Kurt saying that the world is his, and of course, white supremacist ideology has always said that planet Earth is for white people. This planet belongs to white people, and they govern it, and they are quote unquote the world saviors. And this is just European ideology. This rhetoric has been regurgitated by Plato, Aristotle, Nietzsche, all these
Abraham
white,
Lincoln.
yeah, Abraham Lincoln, all these white Europeans have verbalized the fact that they believe that they control the world and run the world, and I thought that was really significant in the film. How his logo is Kurt's world, very short, very concise. This is my world. Yeah.
Yep. World world domination. I think it did a good job at well, I don't know if the creators had the intentions of showing this racist psychology, but it does a good job of showing the racist psychology of the white man kills his mother and father, indicating that, somewhere in a white collective they do not care about their family, or just the white family is just by nature dysfunctional in a lot of regards. Also, he kills a child too. I consider Bobby Basecamp to be a child, especially if he's not white, which is another indication of racist psychology of not caring about children because he kills a child. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, his attempt to kill a black woman is racist psychology. Actually, to rape a black woman because that was on the table at some point. Um, him raping the black comedian woman in the movie. So a lot of racist
Yeah,
psychology is being revealed.
yeah. So the scene that Slave 0256 RS is referring by is a scene in the movie where um, the main character Kurt kidnaps a black woman, black female comedian, and he asks his viewers if he should fuck, marry, or kill her. And all of these suspected white racist people are in this live stream, and they're telling him what to do to her. And it's a very disturbing scene, much like the whole film. And there are a lot of scenes where Kurt is he operates as someone who is inadequate. Like the relationship between him and his father, they're both, I guess, quasi losers in a way, where they don't have the success that they want, and they have these large egos. Maybe Kurt more than his dad, but it's there. And the fact that he kills his mom and his dad, I think that could be, like one of those Freudian complexes where you have a child revolting against a parent because of like things that were not provided. And I think the first thing we see in the film is him killing his mother. That's like the first thing he does after telling us what he's about to do. The audience is not made aware that this is happening, but it's clear that he came out the house very excited and things from the start.
Dang, that was great. That was great decoding of that relationship between the father and son that they had. It was really like, yeah, you're right. They're both white males who because they're white feel inadequate because they're not able to meet their egos level of success. Um yeah, what what else was a good display of white? His ability to clean a blood off of his car right next to the police at the gas station. That scene, it was a huge
Yeah.
example of white power. A lot of people would call that white privilege, but it's actually white power when white people are able to do things that non-white people can't do. That's not privilege, it's power. So yeah, he's just able to nonchalantly clean blood off his car while talking about the murder in proximity of a police officer. Really
Yeah.
telling.
There's another scene where his white power is displayed. It's when Uno, the Asian female, kills the non-white police officer. There's a moment where his partner looks at Kurt, and he tells him to stay put while he chases after Uno. I'm not sure how emergencies are handled within law enforcement, but I'm pretty sure if he was a non-white person, he probably would have been handcuffed or placed in a patrol car, or something would have happened to immobilize his body and stop him from being able to move. So this woman kills a police officer, and the person he's in a car with is able to drive away. To me, that's white power. Like, this guy is white. The woman who shot my partner is Asian. Stay put. I'm gonna go chase her. And very, very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Also, his ability to have like a non-white woman passed out in his car like that and not have any suspicion gave to him reminded me of the whole Dahmer situation where like a non-white male is running for his life. He runs to he runs to race officers and then they take him back to Dahmer where he is then murdered. Remind me of that. And yeah, a great example of white power. Just this woman being
Murdered. Yeah, murdered and cannibalized.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Um, well, there's a lot, and I feel like this film also gives a glimpse into the minds of many young white males, and unfortunately non-white males as well, as into the need to be popular, the need to be
attention
relevant on
seeking.
social media. Yeah, I believe Kurt says in the film, if you don't exist on social media, then it's like you're not even real. To me, to have that mentality, you have to be very detached from the real world, and the real world does not really involve social media. The real world is sustainability, take care of your mental, physical well-being. The real world can be managed through email. No one really needs a Twitter or Instagram. These things are optionals, and I feel like Kurt was a person who allowed these things to ride his mind. But I feel like this character already had a lot of psychopathic tendencies. social media was the outlet, was his fixation.
Yeah.
And what do you think that? Do you think there's any parallels between Kurt and the youth at the moment in regards to social media?
Yeah, like even now you hear kids saying that they want to be influencers or YouTubers when they grow up. So what that can translate to is I want attention. I want people to look at me. I want people to see me. And that's what this movie is all about. It's just like a really sick um system that we're all forced to live under that produces monsters like Kurt Kunkel in reality. Like it's one thing why maybe ask these children, why do you want to be a YouTuber? Is it because you want attention? Do you want people to look at you? Like it's just like I feel like non-white people are especially addicted to attention and showing off, but it's a trait they get from their masters, racist men and racist women, who are like the masters of showing off. So yeah, I think it's definitely like a critique, not a critique, but a real example of like something that could happen in real life, and how things are handled when like massacres are when like terrorist attacks like this actually do happen. This is like the actual aftermath of it, because when Kurt is successful in his lesson, um people at first they don't like they try not to say his name or whatnot, but the white supremacy system glorifies actions and people like Kurt Kunkel. So no matter the attempts what that were made to like suppress his legacy and his popularity was not successful. So he still became popular. People on the subreddits like becoming Kirkies and like creating a fan base and like watching his videos and like making memes of his videos. And this is what happens in real life. Dylan Ruth is famous. Brendan Tarrant is famous. Um,
The
Eli,
new guy, Kyle Whittington, whatever his name is, he's famous.
yeah. So these people exist, and how like it's pretty interesting how like they left in the movie. They left the bottles, like him making the bottles on the internet. I think that's just a good example of like the internet is a place where you can really find out how to do anything if you really want to, and
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, but I wanted to go back to and then the white power dynamic in this film. So keep in mind this individual, Kurt, is able to kill dozens of people during, and it's all live stream. And I've seen so many instances on Facebook or Instagram where like a black person shows a gun in his live stream, and within an hour, within a few minutes, his house is being stormed by police officers. So I do feel like this is something that definitely could happen, because oftentimes when white people do things that may be violent or that are indirectly violent and evil. And I use the word evil because that's what Bobby called him before he was murdered by Kurt. He called him evil. Like, he's able to do this because he is a white male, and being a white male kind of makes him invisible to the law. It makes him invisible to crime. Like, even though he's committing crimes in his social media live streams, I don't feel like his viewers really believe it, and the ones who are aware are watching it just so they can see him kill more people, because that's the entertainment. I agree totally when you said the white supremacist system and the white supremacist structure, it glorifies this type of violence, something that I would call white violence. It glorifies white people killing non-white people in mass numbers. It glorifies white males killing a large amount people, and white or non-white. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share that.
Yep, that's white supremacy 101. The glorification of death, violence. It's just part of the nature of the people who practice racism to thrive off that sort of energy and behavior. Um, this is like a
Yeah.
great movie to explore like the psychopathic racial personality because it hits all like markers. He kills like child, his whole family. You know, very manipulative, but very smart. You have to be smart to be a white supremacist. And
Um,
but what do you think this movie is trying
he
to teach?
also,
Oh yeah, what are you gonna say?
um, I was gonna say back to white supremacist practices. He also uses dogs in
Oh
one of his
yeah,
and I think whenever dogs are viewed in film, cinema, or anything, it's hard to take away the historical implications of dogs being used to maim and kill and hurt non-white people and black people.
yeah,
Historically, it's been documented, it's been recorded. You can go on YouTube right now and find videos of police dogs and attack dogs harming and maiming non-white people. So I also thought that was interesting. The fact that people that he's killing is I believe one of the guys who he kills is a queer person, a person
homosexual.
who
Yeah,
may homosexual. Um, so yeah, I mean it's all there. What I think the film is trying to teach, there I guess because the main character dies by the end of the film, we are supposed to think that this is a bad thing to do, but I don't really know what the film is attempting to teach. I think the film is a piece of work that is supposed to be for entertainment while also pushing the boundaries of what people are willing to do for fame, and notoriety. And also, it's telling us what someone would do if they were a psychopath. He has all the personas of a psychopath. He's very I would even say he has multiple personalities because he goes from wanting to be famous to wanting to be all lovey-dovey and live a life of peace. Towards the end of the film, he tells the black female that he's kidnapped that he wants to be in love and share love and spread peace. This is after killing like 8 people, poisoning people, running people over, shooting people, stabbing people. This is after that, So
yeah.
you already know he's a narcissist, deceitful, and poisoning water, very symbolic. Right now, Flint does not have clean water. And I think I was reading today like 10,000 black kids, non-white children in the Flint, Michigan area. 10,000 of them have recorded to have permanent brain damage. So utilizing chemical warfare for violence is a racist act, and
Wow.
Him giving
Hey, how you lagging?
poison. I said a lot of people in Michigan are still drinking poison water.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that was really, really, really well said. And yeah, poisoning water, that is very, very symbolic. And definitely the dog, using the dogs to kill people, to, definitely reminded me of like slavery and like the historic usage of the historic racist usage of dogs. from racist man and racist woman. Um, so I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, you said really good things. But what I think this film is teaching is like wait, hold on. I think the part where he's dead and the black female like you know the stream tells her to take a take a selfie and like she can't and she does it, you know. I think that's a good example of like the monsters the system makes people, you know. And then like the picture she looks so like, you know, evil and sinister, and she posted on her Instagram too, further glorifying violence and death, you know. According to code, violence and death should never be glorified, and especially killing. So I think that was good, you know. So even a black female can't leave the movie unstained by um insanity. You know, she truly
Yeah.
participates in it, becomes one with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I really appreciated about this movie is the full circle return. We're introduced to him at his home, and the last time we see him alive is at his home as well.
Mm.
And he made some really great parts that I elaborate on. So we see Kurt listening to the audience and killing people for fun, and until he is killed, and then we see the black female take on the role that he was playing. So now she's um, kind of doing similar things. Like he's already been killed, and by her, and then like you say, she listens to strangers on a phone and takes a picture with a dead person that she just murdered. That is a act that no sane person would do. If you just fought for your life, your first thought would be, okay, now let me remove myself from this area. The fact that she did that shows that she has already been affected by the system of racism, white supremacy. If you look around her, she's often surrounded by white males. The guy who takes her to her big show hosted by Joke Bros, he's a white male. And he's also a white male that is aggressively trying to sexually interact with her, you know, mentioning that he wants to fuck her, like he wants to be with her, all these deplorable things. And something I wanted to mention that she's constantly being fetishized by white males around her. So yeah, I do believe that she, towards the end of the film, she has been broken, and she is operating as a victim of racism, white supremacy, while also, you know, playing into the roles of a psychopath, a killer. You know, a killer. A killer is someone who can kill, but a psychopathic killer is someone who can kill and take a picture of them afterwards. You know,
Yeah.
there's to me there's yeah. Continue.
I think the racist message from like her being in a movie and there being no black males in a movie, that um that I could decode that as for a long time black females um have been complacent in the insanity from white supremacy in terms of not being totally truthful with what they know about white supremacy and helping understanding the importance of like forming a union with the black male to solve the problem instead of like trying to solve the problem by yourself or thinking you can solve the problem while working with the enemy. I see that as her partaking in a sanity and her becoming successful in the movie is an example of black women being able to become successful easier than black males due to the system, and even easier if they distance themselves from the black male. And yeah, that's just um, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson 101 right there.
Totally agree, and you have valid points. Throughout the film, we are seeing her increase in popularity, and she does that through she does that through
Honorary. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the word I was trying to avoid. I wanted to break it down so people understand it, but she does that through acting like what they expect ghetto black women to act like. So she uses the word big and she's loud. And I guess this is for her act, but it is doing things that black women have been stereotyped as being for like countless years now. So she plays all the tropes. She plays the loud black girl trope. She plays the angry black woman trope. She plays all these tropes to make people laugh. And it's also symbolic of her being a comedian. Kind of throughout the whole film, this black woman is just made to be laughed at. Yeah. And she has support from her followers. She still is like, under a lot of attacks whenever she's alone with white males.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you see her with white males, she's under attack. Even she's in the car with Kurt and the other driver. He mentions that he wants to have sex with her and that he's very flirtatious with her. I wouldn't even say flirtatious. I would just say very, very inappropriate and perverted.
Yep, and also the actress who plays the black female comedian, she is in a tragic arrangement, so it's no surprising we find her in this sort of role. Yeah, well,
very sad.
What I think this movie is also trying to teach is that white supremacy has no problem with Dylan Roofs, Elliot Rogers. They have no problem with these monsters continuing to be created and birthed because at the end of the day, it's just business as usual to them. And this movie is a great example into racist psychology, racist logic, and maybe just what the usual suspects have planned or what they're up to. But I could be incorrect.
What else? Yeah, this is a really I'm not sure how important it is, but the use of the gun. You remember? According to Dr. Francis Chris Wilson, the gun is a great equalizer. Yeah. So I find it interesting how Kurt was able to stab Bobby to death while he had a gun in his hand, and to me, that's either indirectly or directly showing us how non-white people are really ill-prepared to defend themselves in the face of white violence, white terror. He's disarmed and stabbed probably multiple times, and he's shot several times.
He may have been. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if he was shot or stabbed, but like it was really like tragic to see.
What do you know? What do you mean you don't know if he was shot? You hear the gunshots, and then you see him with blood coming out of his head.
I know he was shot, but I don't know. I don't know if he was like stabbed to death. He got stabbed once, I saw, and then like everything else was pretty like chaotic. But it was tragic to see Bobby be unable to defend himself, because I do believe he could be like functioning as a non-white or at least a child at that point. But that what you said is totally true. Ill prepared. He had a gun. He was unable to defend himself, but most white people are able to handle firearms. So he was able to, get the gun from Bobby, kill him, and then kill his father. Yeah.
And also let's because the film is riddled with subliminal messages and symbology. So if Bobby is operating as a non-white person in the film, which he could be, it was quite unclear. Um, it is also very important that Kurt was once his babysitter. So he once was the person taking care of him, raising him. So he does, regardless of the fact he plays a child role, he is the minor in the scenario. And is the director writer subliminally, consciously or unconsciously telling us that there is a white people have the ability to kill their children with no problems. I mean, that's made quite clear every day because according to white supremacy, black people, non-white people are our children, and they have no problem killing us on the regular. So yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
that.
Casey Anthony, Michael Watts. I think these people are real life examples of how white people have very little issue killing their children. And yeah, that's what I meant by earlier of like the racist psychology of killing the father, killing the mother, and killing the child, because he babysat Bobby, so he was like at some point Bobby's caretaker, his protector. He was like the father figure for that babysitting time. Bless you. But then he had, yeah, so that's what I tried to get a point. But yeah, thanks for clearing that up. That's,
Let's talk about the incident with Frederick. I think that was a attempt of showing a
smoke screen.
authentic. What's this wall?
I would call it a smoke screen because they're trying to paint like um Kurt as not a racist by having that scene, by showing us a more overt, a more or less refined white supremacist. The audience,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think that scene was really strategic in trying to say Kurt is doing this not because he's a racist, but because he is psychotic. And I thought by having him juxtapose the actual openly expressing his views on being superior and using scientific racism, quoting IQ scores and mentioning black death camps, aka Chicago. It's one of the death camps that has been manufactured and that is sustained through white supremacy. And yes, totally a smokescreen. I think that scene only is in the film, so you see a quote unquote non-racist white male kill a quote unquote racist male, and I think it's only to cause confusion. That scene was only to cause confusion, and we
or
should
to
all
see,
be yeah, or to see what.
and to see confusion and to see because they're trying to make us think that he's not a white supremacist when they're both white supremacists. Kurt and the guy in the back seat in this picture. Yeah, I really like how you decoded that black Chicago being a one of the many death camps on planet Earth that non-white people, especially black people, are forced to reside. Um,
Yeah.
that's a really good example of how racist men and racist women work. Because that scene is meant to show Kurt as a lone wolf, a like mentally unstable person, but a mentally unstable person cannot methodically plan something like this. This is a racist white supremacist in full effect, using deceit and violence to harm people. That's just white supremacy 101. And the people who watch this film, they should be aware of that. Do you have any thing you want to add before we close out?
I'm trying to think through the film. Anything that we left out. Um, I mean, I guess the brutality of the film. Like let's go back to the caveman era. Like he's using technology to kill people, such as sharp objects. He stabs Bobby to death. I thought the way that he killed the other white male was quite grotesque. How he runs him over as he's passed out.
Yeah.
He runs twice too, which is just brutal. Like a brutal display of violence. No regard for life. No regard for the body. It's just complete, utter brutality.
Yeah, and that scene is really important because after he does that, he like there's a sign of relief he gives, and he says, "Fun," which if you understand white supremacy, you have to understand that killing is fun to white people, or white people kill for fun. It's interchangeable, accurate nonetheless.
No, that's why one of the most popular groups of people who go hunting are white people. The people who travel the world killing exotic animals are majority white people. So these sports for killing are all popular amongst those who classify themselves as white. This film is riddled with racist white supremacist ideology, whether the writer or director is aware of it or not. It's there. Kurt's world, white man's world, and he and at the end he gets what he wants too, which is another symbolic way this film tells us what white supremacy is and how it's a winner. White supremacy wins. White supremacy is in power at the moment. It's the most powerful force in the universe. So right now, I would say that it's winning. And this film is showing the refinement of white supremacy. You have a white person killing other white males. That's the refinement. Even Kyle Rittenhouse, when he killed those people in whatever state that happened in, he killed white people. He killed white protesters. And there was one more thing I wanted to say.
White sacrifices.
Yeah, white sacrifices. That's what they would be called in the code book or in other literature. But I can't remember what I was gonna say. So you got anything you want to say before we close out?
No, I think this film is really like enjoyable if you're decoding it properly. But the large majority people who watch this movie will just have this violence and white supremacist logic go into their brain computers, and that will be it.
Unfortunately, that is very correct. This film, honestly, I think every film that has these young young white people doing violent things, I think all of these films have like an effect on people's personalities, their behavior patterns, their thought patterns, their speech patterns. So I would not be surprised if this was attempted in real life. I wouldn't. Actually, this actually has already happened somewhat. I'm pretty sure L.A. Rogers recorded some of his stuff
when he was Torrent did. The guy he did that
in Norway, right?
Yeah,
New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say watch with caution. Like most movies, all movies under the system of white supremacy, watch with caution.
Yeah, highly very entertaining. If you can stomach the gore and the violence, is quite funny film, entertaining, very 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 in depth when it comes to symbology and white supremacist ideology. So if you are watching this film, be aware of who's being harmed, the context of the violence, how many non-white people you see versus how many white people you see, and how many non-white people actually talk in the film. Just be aware of these types of things because, like as said earlier, you do not want your brain computers negatively influenced by this film. Don't want that to happen.
All right. If you made it this far, we're signing off.